going to talk about sponsorships, and people ask me this question all the time, what do you look for when looking for an athlete to sponsor, and basically I'm looking for the same thing every other company's looking for. And a lot of people don't realize that social media has taken over the industry. Social media is very important. It's a million times more important than what trophy you've won, how many shows you competed in, what place you got in the show. All that stuff really doesn't matter these days as much as social media, as far as becoming a big name in the sport, and as far as getting sponsorship with a big company. It's social media. So my best advice is really work on that social media. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be. Put a lot of energy, time, and build that fan base, and that's what's going to get you the best sponsor the quickest time possible. Now, another thing I want to talk about is when choosing a sponsor, what you want to do is you want to try to figure out, what is this sponsor going to do for me? There's a lot more to sponsorship than just being able to put on Instagram, I'm sponsored by so-and-so, and look like you're somebody because you have a sponsorship. But the question is, what is that sponsor doing for you? And I've had this discussion with a lot of other athletes, and they'll say, yeah, this company, wants to sponsor me, what do you think? And I say, well, let's go look at their Instagram. Pull up their Instagram, well, they have 20,000 followers. How many followers do you have? I have 52. Why the fuck would you want a company that has 20,000 followers to sponsor you when you have 52? You know what I mean? You can post a picture and get way more people to follow you or see you than the sponsorship. The sponsorships, the company is supposed to be above and beyond you to help you become a big name in the sport. So that's one thing to think about. The first thing you do is, check out their Instagram followers, check out their YouTube followers, check out how big they are, in the social media world. And if they're not that big, they're not going to be able to do that much for you. I tell people that, you can make a video and post it up yourself and probably get more hits than this company. There's some big companies out there, and they have a YouTube channel, and you look, and they have 20,000 subscribers. And people don't look at these things. They don't look at numbers. They just say, oh, they got a YouTube channel, they got this, and oh, they're a supplement company, and they have this pro athlete on their team, and I'll be part of their team. But the reality is you're with them for 1, 2, 3 years, and your name isn't put out there at all. They've done nothing for you. So you've basically wasted these 1, 2, 3 years, of your career, wasting time because this company's not doing anything for you. It's very, very important. And from my story and what you guys know about my past, it's obvious that the company I was with put me out there. They did that shit, and I grew and became a relatively big name in the industry because of that. It's very important. And with my company, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my athletes out there. I'm trying to put them out there and trying to make them all stars. And the way I look at it is, these athletes are not going to stay with me forever, and I don't want them to stay with me forever. I want them to become as big, of a name as they possibly can, and I'm helping them reach that goal. And in turn, the bigger they become, the bigger I become, and we're working together for the same goals. And it helps us both. And so I just wanted to get that information out there because people ask me all the time about this, about sponsorships. And I'm telling you, man, social media. I see all kinds of guys with incredible physiques. Won this contest, won that contest. I met another guy the other day. He's a professional. I didn't even know who he was. And I said, what's your social media? You have Instagram. He's like, yeah. I go, how many followers you have? He said, I have about 150. 150? Jesus Christ. I know a 3-year-old kid that has, 2,000. And, I'm just saying that it's very important to build that social media. And a lot of people get caught up in the trophy and the contest and training for the contest. And they get caught up in this contest, trophy chasing thing. And the reality is, it's very rare to become popular based on trophies. It's only maybe the top 10 bodybuilders in the world are going to be able to become popular as far as fans, following them and so forth, just by chasing the trophy. But look how many people out there that, have a huge fan base and are definitely stars in the industry that don't even compete or never have competed, don't want to compete. I go on Instagram and, I see girls I never heard of, they have 1 million fucking followers. Like, what the fuck, Hey, you know what? That's the way things are going, and they're going to keep going that way. So, don't be left behind. Work on that social media. Anyway, I hope this is a help.